When a gun is not realistic is when he can't put his hands on me. It's the only time we really ever truly play with weapons that like gun defense is when the gun has contact in the back, side of the head, front, whatever. All right, but we're not, that's why we're doing it. If we do gun, let's have a understanding that it's not bullshit kung fu. We only can do something with the weapon if it is in a range and we can touch it, all right? So, we're actually going to start off first by why I like this technique called Ude Gatame, where I'll actually have the arm on the shoulder and attacking this elbow, and I get a lock, right? And I put a tremendous amount of pressure on the elbow, as well as giving countering pressure against the jaw. You actually watched Gordon Ryan, last time he was at ADCC, he swept everybody repeatedly with Ude Gatame sweep. It's like a butterfly guard sweep, but he had that grip. This is underhook grip, which attacks the elbow socket, the elbow line, as well as an elbow to the face. There's like a pulling pressure, as well as a raising pressure. And if I turn it over, it's breaking, all right? Problem is, it doesn't really work that well. In guard, it works really well because you're kind of pulling on the inside. Standing, you have a very hard time because, right, down elbow. You have a very hard time getting that extension, arm to the shoulder over here by just for grappling. When we do it, if I can add strikes, elbows, headbutts, for instance, I'm here, also I start striking Dave, it opens it up a little bit, it creates more opportunity. So, when we do a weapons defense, obviously, you start feeling, you gotta hit them a little bit, so start putting it together. So, could you put, yeah, perfect. So what we're gonna do is play the gun to the back. All right, when I do, I'm just gonna take a step to the outside, I'm gonna come underneath the weapon like I'm moving it. Now I have an elbow, a capture, and a knee, and a catch. All right? Kind of all happens so smoothly. I take a step outside, something I'm hitting the elbow, boom. My arm automatically travel underneath and caught right around his elbow sock, so I feel my wrist or my forearm is connecting right to the divot of his elbow. That step loads my knee, so I get it. Now that is gonna make it drop a little bit. I'm gonna pop it on my shoulder. When I pop it on my shoulder, I want to catch it. I'm trying to squeeze my neck and my head into his hand so it's locked. And this hand is also driving over. So I start again attacking the elbow down. So the whole thing is down, down, down. I want to always create an open space. And that's why it really shows you the principle of Ude Gatame is this right here. Is that you have this big open space, you're creating a pocket for the arm or elbow to break into, and he has to do something, right? Or his elbow breaks. So I can make him go forward by adding forward pressure. He comes back in, now I can add reverse pressure. It becomes a very dynamic position to attack from, right? That's in submission. It's one of my favorite submissions off the ground from side control. So, again, we come here, I step out, turning elbow, knee, pop it on my shoulder, and I'm keeping my distance. I'm not letting him bend that elbow. I talked earlier, it's hard to get in the grapple. When he bends the elbow, I can't get back to that elbow attacking position. It's about always attacking the elbow. So when I have here, I reinforce it with my hand like a frame, like monitoring my range, keeping him away from me. He stays over there, that opens up. If I want to add another knee to his head, and now I can break. When I'm breaking, this part of my forearm rides around the edge of the wrist, and then a nice strong control. Cool? That makes sense? A little elaborate, but play with it and you'll kind of start feeling how you can attack the elbow. It's fun. All right, go. This stuff, especially as jiu-jitsu people, as martial artists. So there's a lot that goes into it, so I'm trying to kind of talk about the concept, but the idea of this is really important in the beginning. I know where the gun is, right? I talked in the beginning, I can't do true weapons defense if I don't know where the gun is. Well, I know where the gun is, it's on my right shoulder, I can feel it. My arm is connected to my leg, which whole idea is to get my body offline, all right? Once my body gets offline, that's not good enough. I gotta get in on the arm, so I'm gonna take a nice big step with getting my body offline. And see how my elbow is just, all right, underneath this arm? That's what I'm looking for. This is just kind of folds in all in one beat. So it should be just fairly smooth. Once this touches, I'm just moving in. Nice, getting control. And then it flows. And then it breaks. Does that make sense? So it's nice to just feel like the whole body's just going in one direction. It's going that way. The elbow's gonna move it out of the way. You know where it is now. Your hand travels in, connects to the shoulder, touches the face. This elbow is flipped underneath. Press right where the elbow is, knee as you come down. On top of it, I make sure I maintain my space at the end. And then there's my break if I need to, right? So it's a little, I mean, I'm all about footwork movements. All I'm trying to do is this. Very simple. I'm just trying to, this big leg back step, so this big back step is trying to get in a very strong left leg lead behind me. Boom. As I'm doing that, strong left leg lead behind me, I'm throwing a right elbow. Now all I'm going to do is as I throw the right elbow, instead of coming to me, come right back to where I was. All right? Play with it. Simple to get to the position. If I think about it, I have a box this whole time. All right, my hands are up, kind of being a little bigger than my box. This is like my working area. Once I come in, I never really lose my box. It stays, I change the angle of it. I'm still back to my box. I use the box to get on top. This part's important. I want to have this frame to keep him away. I can knee him again, then break, okay? But the elbow and getting in is important. The box is, one's doing a pull and one's doing a push. So once I come through underneath my elbow of my knee, I'm now using my left part, like my left forearm, to pull to me, so it's stressing out that elbow. If I keep doing it, he would come to me, right? Then I'm into a grapple or an exchange. So I'm using my right forearm to keep him away. Right now I have a lot of tension. Now I can wrap it, control my box. I'm still in that frame. It's a push-pull. That's why I like this a lot. It works so well during jiu-jitsu on the ground as well. You can have an opposing force on that elbow that causes a lot of pain, tension. They feel like that you're always attacking their elbow. At the same time, you're kind of messing with their shoulder and their structure. It gives you a lot of power. No gi doesn't make a difference. Sweep, submit, manipulate, you know what I mean? All right, keep going. He bends it, okay? Now I want to pull on it, drop, and drop my, I'm trying to keep it away. I want to drop my weight on it, stuff it to the ground, all right? Obviously you strike and hit and punch as well as you want. But all your emphasis is on that gun not pointing at you, keeping it where it is. Now you're beating up, you can hammer it, work the peeling off the hand, crack them, and then you're usually pretty good. All right? Questions? Let's do it. Into finishing it on the ground again. So, okay. First thing, the true nature of this is the break, okay? It's a control option, but the first idea of this is that it's meant to be, once we enter in, it's meant to be quick, wow. There's nothing about it. It's meant to be very destructive things. Man hit you an elbow, or I'm sorry, with a gun, I was just trying to break it. In jiu-jitsu, we actually, or grappling, add a lot more pressure. So I can't bring him down. The problem is you're doing with a weapon that's probably not the smartest thing, especially if you have the power to break the elbow, that he has a weapon with a gun hand in. Do it. But what's very common is that when you start attacking this, I get it, they roll the hand. Other way, if you turn it, let's go this way, yeah. They roll that, they hide the elbow, okay? So this cuts into what should look just like a Kimura, right? His elbow's facing down. So now we have like almost like an underhook feel to it. We're gonna use a combination of attacking the elbow and attacking the shoulder by making a grip right around his elbow joint. So it changes, and it turns into that. It changes both, like almost a roll, but also gives a lot of stress on the elbow. It gives you great control. But we're not gonna leave with a gun pointed up at the end. So I'm gonna do it one more time to come through. I attack it, he bends. Now I'm gonna pull on it, drop. All right? Let's just go quickly. We'll pull on, drop it, just stress it out, grab it in his hand. We won't go to breaks yet. Let's just use that for now as a finish. So one more time. We're here, we'll come through, boom. I attack, he bends, I pull him down, I drop my weight on it right away so I never get the gun in front of me. I take now, my hand, drive it down, peel it, two hands on one, crack them. Don't use the gun to hit them, to kill them. And then all cops. Yes. What? Can you actually kill them? No, you should go to jail. Don't do that. I don't think jail would be good for you. That long hair. All right. Questions? Yeah, that would be good. Your focus should be keeping that hand on the ground, so that right hand is driving his hand, and that left hand should be hitting him ruthlessly as much as possible. You gotta get him to get rid of that gun. Don't want to get it back. Like this whole idea should be pinning that wrist like this, like opening your hand, like stuffing it down, and then now that's your anchor point. All right, now this hand it's hard for him to get back. He's so focused on that gun, he's probably just be shooting randomly. God forbid there's someone over there, but you know, what the fuck are you gonna do? This guy just tried to kill you. You know what I mean? But you're trying to get, let's just think of jiu-jitsu, you're trying to get in a very dominant position. The idea though is not we're looking for submission now. Now we're looking for a position to like keep that weapon and control that weapon away from you and then just break the brain. You know, getting to let go and stop. Then you can go to a control or whatever. Exactly, you know.
Elbows.
That's what, I mean, if you think of jiu-jitsu from a self-defense perspective, that's what it's for. You know what I mean? The control, not the cool shit. Last time, then we'll roll, play with a minute after. So, let's go like, head that way. And down. All right. My right hip socket is the hip socket, or the right hip and right arm is what I'm gonna attack with. So right now, my right hip is aligned with his hips, and my left hip is aligned with his shoulders. My objective is to get, and so my center line is basically at his center line or at his belly. My objective is to get my center line directly over his face. So right now, our center lines are belly. I switch, so I create a path, I'm cupping this elbow. I create a path on a big step or big hip switch or hip drive so that my hip socket now aligns with his shoulder, right? Now I go back to side control, but his shoulder, which was under side control before, is nothing, and my center line is now his head, right? That's why it works, because all my pressure is here, and I can just hang out. Where is he gonna go? He's got nowhere. I have all my submissions available, and like I said, it's self-defense. It's a great place to strike from too. Does that make sense? That's why it works. That's why it's I think, a very powerful position, because you're just learning to shift your hips to a much more dominant head control position where you can do more damage. Yeah? Want to try 1 more minute? You good? In 1 minute, let's roll. Yeah, 1 minute, go ahead. You do all the way from it. No, you're good. I'll just come back here. All right, one of my favorite submissions from side control is Ude Gatame. And I do it by trying to get all my weight and pressure on the head and then attacking with a straight arm lock. So, in side control, I like to drop my rear leg back down. And so I have a very strong knee here. I feel like my right hip is in his right hip. And especially if I feel like I'm losing, like if he's able to get his elbow down right off the bat, like say I'm passing, he's got his elbow down. I like having this so I can keep control of his hip, but I also attack his elbow again. And then what I ultimately want is to get much higher on it, so I'll slide my knee in and drop my body right on top of his face. So there's a lot of pressure here. We're actually kind of almost in a straight arm lock right here. What I really want is this one. So if you guys come over, you turn you. What I really want to do is get this arm on top of my shoulder. So I'll work my body down and then just, sorry. All right, so the whole idea is I get nice and tight, everything sucks in, and I bring my own body to shoulder by all my hips and all my pressure smushing as hard as I can now. I need a lot of pressure right here. Work my body up. I make my forearm straight up and down. And I look to find the body in this tricep where my elbow my forearm will like notch into his elbow. So the drum like, oh, there it is. And then just get tight. It's very painful. You feel like your elbow's gonna break. And then it's just cool. One of my favorite ones. It feels like, it probably looks like from a big guy technique, but what I like about it, is that I'm putting all my pressure here, right? If we talk about ultimate control, if he can't get his head and his shoulders off the ground, I've got him crisscrossed like this. Probably wouldn't take, I'd probably get right on top of him and just hold Dave down if his pressure is evenly distributed and he's attacking that elbow. It's very, very tough to hard, you know, so it's not, it is look like kind of a big boy thing, but also it's a smart thing that all my weight, all my pressure, all my energy is right here where I can hurt him. I don't have to deal with any of that. Cool? Questions? Let's try it.